Sweet potatoes are one of the best crops to be growing in the garden in Oklahoma. They're very sensitive to frost, so you need to wait until well after the danger of frost is over for your area. But they are very tolerant of the midsummer heat that we'll get in Oklahoma. So they'll come through in the summer garden better than most vegetables, and they'll come through and give you a good crop in the fall. Now if you look at the sweet potatoes, the slips that you buy in the store are grown from roots that have been stored over the winter, planted into a propagation bed, and then as the shoots come up and grow and start to form roots, they're pulled from the roots in the bed, and then they're bundled and sold to you when you get ready to plant them out in the garden. Now they are very sensitive to drying out, especially the roots, so when you look for them in the store, be careful not to buy ones that are very dried out, and when you bring them out into the garden, keep them out of the sun, and it's good to keep them in a bucket of water to keep those roots moist. The slips are planted about a foot apart in rows that are 3 to 3.5 feet apart. They'll need plenty of room. The vines themselves can grow extremely long. It's important to remember two things with sweet potatoes. Even though they will take the summer heat very well, they do not tolerate poor drainage at all. So if you have a low spot in the garden where the water collects, where it's poorly drained, then you want to probably find another place to plant your sweet potatoes. The best soil would be a sandy loam, one that isn't too droughty, but one that isn't too poorly drained. On something less well drained than the sandy loam, you can get by hilling up a ridge about 8 to 10 inches tall after it's settled. This way that'll provide the aeration, the good drainage that the sweet potatoes need, so that you can get by without having to have a sandy loam soil. It's important to have adequate irrigation throughout the growing season for sweet potatoes. If you have good irrigation in the beginning of the season, they'll start to form a lot of roots, a lot of storage roots to what you're eating. If you then let them dry out, the plants aren't vigorous enough to fill out that great number of roots. So you need to start out with good moisture to get those roots initiated, and you need to follow through with irrigation through midsummer and into fall if need be in order to get those roots filled out. You can start harvesting sweet potatoes as soon as the roots are big enough to eat. You don't have to wait until just before frost if you don't want to. As soon as they're big enough to eat, you can start digging them. For best storage quality, you want to let them go until a week or two before your expected frost date, and then dig them up, and that way they'll be in the best condition, you'll have your highest yield, and you'll be ready to store them through the winter and have sweet potatoes to eat on all through the winter. Now we're glad that you could join us today on Oklahoma Gardening. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.